Now I'm looking crazy. I just got back from the gym, so that's why I look like boo boo. But nonetheless, I gotta watch this whole Joe Biden town hall in completion, and eventually I'll get to that whenever I got time. But what you know, what needs to be talked about is this student debt problem that we have, because you see, the way it's set up in America. The trillions of dollars are crippling millions of people. And it's a shame. And Joe Biden needs to do something about it, because that's what we put his ass in the White House for. So this fool gets a question about canceling $50,000 worth of student debt, like Elizabeth Warren said. Chuck Schumer said Elizabeth Warren won't plan no games whenever she had a plan for that. Still got a plan for that. And Joe Biden is like, nah, not gonna happen. Y'all ain't getting shit. And on top of that, he was like, maybe 10,000, because that's what he proposed. And we're in day what of his administration, and we didn't even get $10,000 canceled. So how can you sit up here and be like, 10,000 is legal, but $50,000 is illegal? Where's the rule? It's written nowhere. And if $10,000 is legal, where's $10,000 at? Take it off now. And ain't it crazy that, they're like, hey, well, we paused interest and we paused student loan payments. No. What you did do is you extended what Donald Trump already put in place via executive order. So how are you going to get in office and then just extend what Donald Trump did whenever you done drug his name through the mud, talking about how he's the worst thing for the country and the country needs to heal from him, yet you're extending something that he put in place last year? Garbage. But yeah, the arguments around the $50,000 forgiveness that he was making, stupid. Talking about, well, people from Harvard and whatnot, they don't need to have their student. Why not? Why not? It's expensive. School, period. And it's all a sham. So, I mean, shit, if they need money forgive it. That's money that they can put in the economy as well. And just because you go to Harvard or you go to wherever else, those Ivy League schools, it doesn't necessarily mean that you come from an advantaged background. Some people are disadvantaged and go there. A lot of them are advantaged. But those people who are advantaged aren't taking out student debt, because who's going to be like, oh, I have the money to pay for this, but still I'm going to take out the debt anyway? It makes no sense. Please. Interest on the plus loans are 8%. Who's trying to do that? That's just dumb. So, no, that's a stupid argument. They're just trying to say that to basically give you every excuse in the book to be like, y'all ain't getting shit, vote for us again in the midterms because Donald Trump will ruin your life. That's what they're trying to do. Dumb. What was the other argument? Talking about we're taking money away from early childhood education. How about, if somebody were to ask me, well, if you want $50,000 of student debt forgiven for all these people, does that mean you don't want early childhood education to be invested in? And well, if that's what it comes to, then no, fuck the children, because they're not paying my debts. They're not paying anybody else's debt. So then no. But that's really not what it has to be. It doesn't have to be us versus them. What it really is retroactive investment in early childhood education. Because I came from a disadvantaged, man, I'm still disadvantaged. I came up poor, poverty, and now I'm door dashing, still in poverty. So, give me the $50,000. I don't even have $50,000 in student debt. So, if you can just give me the difference, then I'd love that too. But nonetheless, wipe the slate clean for me with my debts, and I'm good. I'll take that as okay, you invested in my early childhood development. It was just a retroactive thing. But in all seriousness though, it's people who are say my age now, or even 40 now, if they didn't get the investment that you're trying to invest in children of today, how is it any less important that they get that investment now? That same investment as you are claiming you need to invest in to early childhood education. Another just dumb argument, another dumb talking point. It's not even an argument, it's just a talking point to swindle and bamboozle. And the fact that these idiots in the audience are clapping for that shit, like, yes, don't give us our money. We don't deserve to live a better life. Like, y'all was wrong with America. And see, this is the reason why I couldn't drive 30 minutes to vote for Joe Biden, because he was a fool. Now, I couldn't vote for Donald Trump either. You know, I agree with him on certain things, but it's just the people that he has around him and them people that he sent to, the Capitol, and his administration, his friends. I can't vote for that because I can't be associated with that. That's just, I feel like I would have no self-respect by voting for that. You know what I'm saying? But it's also like, well, under Donald Trump, we got more money on a stimulus check. And Joe Biden's trying to give less people money than Donald Trump did. Donald Trump was like, well, here's the EO, here's that executive order, and we're going to stop student loan payments, we're going to extend unemployment, and we're going to send out them Trump checks. Okay? And Joe Biden's like, y'all can die without him. Y'all don't, what did he say? America doesn't want a handout. Yes, I do. Please, give me the handout, because I'm not one of those people who's just like, oh, you gave me some money, so that makes me a less than human. That makes me someone who's out there on the streets just begging people for it instead of trying to get something for myself anyway. That makes me lazy. Honestly, anyone who ever called me lazy, I'd be like, get up and go to the gym with me, and I'll show you who's lazy. For real. Let's go run. Let's run outside in freezing cold weather. Let's run in the snow like Rocky Balboa and Rocky IV together. Let's run on the treadmill. Let's run for miles, and then let's go do a bench press, do a Jefferson curl to a shoulder press. Let's do a power snatch. Let's do all of that, and then let's go to work. And you tell me who's lazy. Get your ass out of here. So yes, I will do all of that and accept an extra $2,000 because I'm not stupid. Okay? I'm not. So just, he's on that bullshit. Anyway, back to the student debt. Like, forgive it. That's just it. Forgive it. That's all you gotta do. I am so sick of Betsy DeVos and her bird-looking ass being able to just make money for her and her friends and her family who is invested in everybody. Tell me that too. How the fuck is a Secretary of Education gonna be, like, investing in the debt of like student loans? That seems like an extreme, that it doesn't seem like an extreme conflict of interest. That is an extreme conflict of interest. It's just on every side. And we tried to kick that shit out only to let some dumbass walk in to the House of America and just continue to bamboozle us. And the thing about Joe Biden and them Democrats, those corporatist Democrats, is like they like to play this charade. They like to put up the facade that they care. And then they're like, oh, everyone in community college should go to community college for free. So they can go to community college for free. You can invest in early childhood education, and you can also forgive these debts. Because you know what you didn't mind forgiving? The people who caused the 2008 financial crash. You didn't mind forgiving them, did you? No, you didn't. Banks are too big to fail. Like, there's pisses me off to no end. To no end. There is no limit to the lengths that these politicians will go to fuck over the lower class Americans. Okay? And there's also just, there's no substance to the these talking points and arguments that are in defense of not forgiving student loan. The only argument against forgiving student loans that really strikes a chord with me is people who are like, well, I paid my student loans and I don't feel right about that. Y'all not having to pay it. That's the only, because that's real. That's real. And I'm going to be real with you. I want student loans forgiven for me. And if that means everybody else too, cool. And I mean, also, if Joe Biden just, if he worked up a deal and said, yo, Brandon, only you are being forgiven student debt, then I'd be like, I mean, I'm not going to say no. But, I mean, by all means, help everybody. Help everybody. But I feel the people who are like, I paid my student debt, and I'm a little pissed off about y'all over here possibly getting y'all student debt forgiven. Okay? And granted, we can get into like the cost of school whenever y'all went to school. Just a lot of other argument. But yeah, it's just, it kind of seems it's going to seem a little unfair. Because I tell you what, let me not get my student debt forgiven and me pay off all my student debt. Sorry, younger generations, I'm not fighting for you. I'm not. I'm absolutely not. Because, yeah, I will be old and bitter. And just be like, you know what, well, I didn't get it, so you can't get it either. Because you really think No. I didn't give birth to you, and I didn't plant a seed in somebody to give birth to you, so I don't really care about you having, a better financial life than me so much that, I want to see you advance over me whenever we're actually, competing and similar. No. So that is one argument that, I get, but I'm also well, I don't care. You paid it off. Good for you. We can honor you. We can name the bill after you. I will say that you are the greatest person in the world because I can say that and I can be zeroed out with the debt. So yeah, y'all who paid off y'all students, sorry, y'all went about it the wrong way because we're trying to be we're trying to be like them billionaires. We're trying to be like Goldman Sachs or who was it that was out there writing crazy types of mortgage loans with the 2008 financial crisis. We're trying to be like them. We're trying to be like the CEOs and execs who do stock buybacks and shit. We're trying to be like we're not paying. Basically, we're not paying because fuck y'all. So yeah, and by y'all I mean the government. Y'all put us through this crazy ass process, trying to indoctrinate. Y'all done traumatized me, then forced me into hours of my life, the majority of my life, just taken away by school, just all of school. The institutionalization of education is something that, I find just unforgivable in America. It's terrible, Ugh. Y'all put me through that, so yeah, fuck y'all. I didn't like the system. I hated school. It was trash. Now, I like to learn, but I hated school. And whenever I think about the fact that I paid, and am paying money for the little bit of school that I did do, there is some deep regret there. And it's also just man, what was I thinking? And why did I let anybody talk me into being go to college? It's the best thing you can do for your life. It's the way to the middle class. I ain't trying to fuck my way to the middle. So, no. But essentially Joe Biden was like, nah, we're not doing it. So what we're going to have to do is keep our boot on that bastard's neck, and then let them know, well, look, those people rioting weren't chanting my name. They don't know me. They weren't trying to kill me. They weren't at my doorstep. They were at y'all's doorstep. They were at your place of work, your place of business, where you conduct yourself professionally. So think I won't. If, midterms come around and I ain't got no double stack stimulus check and I ain't got any type of student loan debt forgiven, think I won't march my petty little ass to the ballot box and make sure that, I vote for somebody who's going to incite some shit like just happened. Because y'all seem pretty fine with playing with everybody else's lives except yours. These people seem all right with debt crippling everyone in America in the middle, before, it was, that's another thing too. It was already a pandemic before, and we already had an economic crisis going on before COVID-19. COVID-19 was just a distraction You know, it gave them an excuse like all of these issues is COVID-19. No, this was already present before. You know, there are so many like facts that I have in my head, and just like shooting it all out is all at once just seems unnecessary because all y'all know, like just look at your life. You know, and look at people that you know who have gone to school, who are struggling with debt, who have children now, you know, who went to school decades ago and still got to pay student debt. They're going to go to the grave with debt from student loans. And like, what did that college education get them? You know how many people that are like, oh, I majored in political science and now you're a personal trainer at a gym. You know, just come on. Come on. Ugh. You know, when people get in degrees and then because they're a woman or because they're a certain color, they're not getting paid as much as like other people, and then the degree is not even like making it worth, it's not even paying for itself. You know, so just, he needs to forgive it. It needs to be forgiven for so many reasons. And also just like, in terms of academia and education, the entire system needs to be changed. It really needs to be changed. And I'm someone who is for universal public education. You know, if private companies want to be private companies and like, you know, private schools, companies, whatever, synonymous, don't matter. You know, they all making money. That's fine. And if you want to go there, that's fine. Get you that private education. Like, I don't blame you either, because I'm someone who is like, if I would have played the cards right, I would have went to a private school instead of trying to do like a couple years at a public school, and it's just not working for me. I need special attention whenever I'm learning. I need like all eyes on me. I need a classroom size of very few people, because one, I don't even like being around people like that. I'm extremely introverted, and it's just like my way of learning is different. Like I'm more like, if anything, I'm more like autodidactic, in the sense where like I like to just like teach myself things, because like I know me, I know my brain, and like just give me resources and like I can do that. And then if I have like an intimate, close relationship with someone who can help guide me in my learning process, then that works, you know. And I think you get that like more attentive setting in a private school anyway. So I mean, if we made like public schools universal, I mean, private schools would still thrive, because I'm not the only one who's like that, and I think like that's a large appeal of going to a private school anyway. But yeah, making like public schools tuition free, I think that would just do a world of good for society, for America, and the world. Because then you would have like, I think, just a culture of Americans who like value education more. You know, and you would have people who are going to school for what they're passionate about. They're not worried about, you know, oh, well, I got to get this job, so I have to study this. You know, it just opens up a world of creativity. Just, I think and more people would be going, and just that exchange of culture and different walks of life. There are so many positives to making like public school universal, and we already have that with K through 12. So please stop trying to just, you know, milk this cow of like college and post-secondary education, so that we can continue to like grow this fake ass economy. And Joe Biden can do that by, you know, he can at least start the process by you know, canceling student debt. You know, and it's not even like he's canceling all of it too, because there's going to be people out there who are like, oh, you've taken $50,000 off, and that's a huge help, but I still got another $100,000 to pay. You know, a lot of people, they're in that situation as well. Me, not so much. Like $50,000 forgiven, again, I'm more than zeroed out, and I'm super happy. So that I want to happen. Of course I do, because that's going to like better my life, and why would my politics not be in the self-interest of myself, you know? And people really need to like start thinking about it that way too. Like, don't get bamboozled, you know. Don't let these smooth talking, you know, the rhetorical people make you think that your politics should be one that isn't of your own self-interest. If it improves the material conditions of your life, if it improves society, if it improves upon this terrible economic structure that we have known as American capitalism, then why even like let someone talk you into something else? And these people wouldn't be saying these things and doing these things if they couldn't talk you into voting against your own self-interest. And they're very good at doing that. And that's why y'all keep voting for it. Because if y'all were really about it and y'all weren't so easily fooled, then we'd be saying Bernie Sanders, President of the United States. And I would be oh so happy because I so wanted Bernie Sanders up in there. Because I really think that he would have done some things. I also think that, some people would have tried to kill him. But, he would have gotten some things done. And it's still getting stuff done. Thank you, Bernie. Shit. Our stimulus checks, the unemployment is coming because Bernie has been more presidential than Joe Biden and Donald Trump ever could be while not even being president. He was handling stuff for the Americans all last year while being in the minority party of the Senate. So just and Democrats, and I'm an independent, but Democrats, independents, they weren't the only ones who were getting, who were welfare queens getting that unemployment. Republicans were too. So you have Bernie to thank because he wasn't playing around. He said, y'all want y'all's wars and you want y'all's military budget and y'all ain't getting shit until these motherfuckers over here, these poors, until they get an additional $600 on them unemployment checks. I will hold up, y'all want to go on vacation too, senators? I will hold up this bill and all of Congress and the entire government if y'all don't give these poor people some change. And they were crumbs. They were helpful. Those crumbs had lots of nourishment and nutrients. They were substantive. That was great sustenance that he gave us. So thank Bernie. And that's the same energy that Joe Biden can have. Because if Bernie can do that as a senator in the minority party, imagine what he could have done as president. Think about that. While y'all were over here oh, well, he's gonna lose to Donald Trump. He's a socialist. Meanwhile, it's y'all motherfuckers don't follow nothing. Nothing. Because you would have known all throughout the primary, Bernie Sanders was beating Donald Trump just as much as Joe Biden. But, don't listen to people who actually want to improve the country. Just don't. Oh my God. Idiots. Anyway, yeah. Think about what he could do as president, and then 2, think about what our actual president could do as president. He could forgive the debt. He can, if he wants to. Donald Trump, if Donald Trump can send some ghetto-ass goons to the Capitol and then not get impeached for it, Joe Biden can forgive $50,000. Joe Biden can forgive and cancel all of student debt. He could. So the compromise is $50,000. And the energy that everybody needs to bring is, this is our compromise. $50,000 motherfucking dollars. And see if we don't burn this country to the goddamn ground if you don't give us our money. That's the energy. And take that energy to the ballot box. Whether it's somebody primarying these fools who don't want to vote for it, or if it's just fine, whatever it's going to be. Patriot Party, Fascist Party, Republican Party, let them go in. Let them. And see beyond the media and everybody telling you racism this, racism that, blah, 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 because whenever brown people are disproportionately affected by student debt, I think that's a race issue. That's a racial justice issue. So don't you think it's working against racial justice for Joe Biden not to handle that racial justice issue that is the disproportionate effects of, brown people being able to handle their student debt? I forget the specific statistic, but there is a greater percentage of creamy people, creamy, pale, pasty people who are able to like get their debt paid faster than, brown people. It is what it is. So, I don't know. Put it that way if you have to. Like, for me, it doesn't have to be racialized. But I mean, if we're going to sit here and be like, oh, we can't vote for Donald Trump and those people because they're racist and blah, 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 well, why would you vote for someone who is allowing a, like, system of racism to persist? And for me, I just look at it, universally, like, beyond the race. Like, this is going to help so many people. And I'm all for, like, fuck these oligarchs. Fuck these billionaires who become, like running $1 trillion businesses. Fuck the billionaires who got over $1 trillion richer during the pandemic. Fuck the oligarchs who got richer in 2010 whenever they like swallowed all the wealth officially in America, and no longer did the middle class and lower class have the majority of the wealth in America. Just like 10% of people in America own more than 90% of the wealth owned by the rest. Like, just no. Cancel the debt.